What's up? It's Tony from Street Church Ministries and The Inside Job. You're watching our podcast, The Inside Job. Thanks for hopping on board. We just finished a 6-week series called Afterthoughts. Today's week 1 of a new 4-week series. You're going to love it. It's entitled Lessons from the Least of These. It's going to be taken out of Matthew chapter 25. But before I even begin, I have something I want to say. If you're out there, or if you're watching this right now, if you're going through a situation that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, and if you've allowed that situation to cause you to be negative, to murmur, to complain, to, if it has you sitting in a pool of self-pity, I want you to do something for me right now. Okay? If you're able to, I want you to get up, walk to your refrigerator, grab a bottle of water, just like this one, open it up, and take a big swig. Then I want you to realize this. What you just did right now, millions of people around the planet would love to do, but are unable to. There's millions of people who would give anything to walk 6 feet, grab a bottle of water, and take a drink. And if you and I are able to do that, that in and of itself is enough reason for us to lift our eyes, no matter what we are going through, and say, Lord, thank you for life. Thank you for my life. Because life at the end of the day is God's greatest gift to us. And it's meant to be lived. So that's a freebie. Back to the lesson. So Isaiah 55 says this. It says, for as high as the heavens are above the earth, so high are my thoughts and my ways above your thoughts and your ways. So the question is this. How high is the observable universe above the Earth's atmosphere, right? What's the gap then? So the gap that is between the Earth's atmosphere and the fringes of the observable universe is approximately 46 billion light years in any direction. That's the distance, right? So to break that down, 1 light year is the same as 6 trillion miles. I'm not going to do the math, but I think it's clear that it's a pretty massive gap that is between our thoughts and God's thoughts, and our thoughts and God's, and our ways and God's ways. And if that's true, then it would probably be a good idea if we align ourselves with God's ways and God's thoughts. So what are some of God's ways? So there's this awesome Bible verse that I've always loved. It's in Proverbs 19:17. It says this, and I think I love it for what it does not say more than for what it does say, or, equally at least, right? I'll explain in a second. It says, one who is gracious to a poor person lends to the Lord. Note what it does not say. It does not say one who is gracious to the poor, or a poor community, or a bunch of poor people. But it specifically singles out one single poor person. That if we're kind or gracious to one single poor person, in essence, we are being kind to the Lord and we're lending to him. That blows me away. That the God of the cosmos, that the same God who is sustaining the Earth's orbit around the sun. So right now our planet is spinning around this ball that's on fire in the sky. That's 109 times our size at 67,000 miles an hour, 18.1 miles every single second. That God is sustaining that activity. Then that same God so closely identifies with one single solitary poor person, one single person who is going through it, that he would insert that Bible verse in his book. That blows me away. And that's the foundation of our entire series. So each week I want to concentrate on 1 or 2 words. So this week we are going to concentrate and focus on 1 word. I'm going to pick out 1 word, and I want us to allow that word to simmer in our thought life and allow it to change our perspective or enhance our perspective of how we view God, how we view ourselves, and how we view others. Okay, so let's get going. Matthew chapter 25, I'm going to begin in verse number 31. Let me see here. Here we go. But when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them from one another as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world." So, if you guess that the word for today is prepared, then go get yourself some Chinese food, because that's the word for today. The word that we're going to focus on today is the word prepared. Way back in Genesis 1, we see God creating the entire canvas of life, right? And in Genesis chapter 1, verse number 3, it says, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light." So in essence, God said something, right? And bang, it just happened. And that's the thought I get as I read Genesis chapter 1, that God was just giving the word and things were just boom, 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 boom. And I could be wrong, but it just does not seem that there was a lot of preparation involved. Because whenever there is preparation, like certain words that sort of come to my mind are time, effort, energy. It cost you something. It cost you your affections. It cost you effort, energy, and time, right? I don't get the sense that there was a whole lot of preparation here. I just see God giving the word and bang, things are happening. But in Matthew 25, Jesus uses the word prepare. That God has prepared a kingdom for those who love him, serve him, and identify with the poor from the foundation of the world. Or, as I like to say, prior to a blade of grass on the planet Earth, God had prepared something for those who love him, right? That blows me away, right? Every Thanksgiving, as long as I have been married, my wife has been preparing an awesome Thanksgiving dinner for the entire family. Every Christmas Eve, for as long as I can remember, my mom has been preparing an awesome Christmas Eve dinner for the entire family. The one thing that they have in common is this: it doesn't get on the table by accident. It doesn't get on the table because they began their preparation on Christmas Eve morning or on Thanksgiving morning. I mean, the one thing that they have in common is this: that their preparation, it began days ahead of the actual day, like 5-6 days out, right? They are just putting in the time, the effort, and the energy to create a spectacular meal, which they do every year, right? That's what I see Jesus saying here. That God has put in the detail, the affection, the energy, and the time to create a spectacular kingdom for those who love him and who love the poor. That blows me away. And I think the biggest reason it blows me away is this: because I'm very well aware of the person that looks back at me every time I look in the mirror. Nobody knows all of my blemishes, all of my issues, all of my messes more than me. And just the thought that even though that is true, that before the world began, God was orchestrating or preparing with great detail, with great affection, with great energy and effort, a kingdom for me to live in forever. even in spite of my mess. That blows me away. And I pray that that would blow you away too. Next week, we are going to talk about something that is going to blow us away, just as much as it's blown us away, hopefully. So until then, have a great week. I'll see you then.